Well, hello, and welcome to the Carlos Decades of Decor. Well, there was an estate sale that was online that finished up last night. It's about an hour away from my house, and we wound up winning one thing. There was a beautiful 1920s floor lamp with the jadeite coming up the base. However, it went for about $200. So we did find a Yo-Yo Quilt, and that was what we won. So right now we're sitting in front of the house waiting for the auctioneer to come let us in so we can pick up our winnings. Okay, so hello. We are back at my 1820s house, and we've picked up our Afghan and quilt and brought it back home. So I'm going to show you next what that quilt looks like. So these yo-yo quilts wound up being popular. I guess they reached their peak, I should say, in the 1920s to the 1940s, as people were moving around more with buses going downtown to shop. You were able to get the supplies for the yo-yo quilt and just take one of the little circles and work on it. So it was a lot more easily transported. You can make your little circles, and then when you got back home or wherever, you were able to combine them and put them all together to make your quilt. Now, that particular quilt, it does have a backing put on it, which helps to keep it more sturdy. And when I went to the estate to pick it up, it was still up on the bed, which was a full-size bed, so it is a pretty big one. I haven't done the exact measurements. There was another one in the auction that had a white backing put onto it, and then it was even longer down the sides, and it made a little ruffle. But I don't know, that one just didn't strike me the way that this blue one did. So that was the yo-yo quilt. Now, I also mentioned something in the car that I was really hoping to get at this auction, and it was one of the 1920s floor lamps. I mentioned in the car that I did not get it. However, when I went into the house, I was one of the first people there to pick up my item. And when I went into the house, that lamp was still there. So I did get a picture of it, and I do want to share it with you. I know the $200, $225 that it went for, that really was an excellent price with the green onyx that's going down it, because it really was ornate. It was for myself, and I didn't want to spend that to treat myself. But here's a picture of the lamp that I wanted so badly. Well, wasn't that a beauty? And, you know, the costume that was next to it, maybe I should have asked when I was there, but I didn't. I don't know what country that costume was made for. So if any of you know out there, put it in the comments and let all of us know. I'm not sure the country of origin, but that was a very ornate costume that was next to that beautiful lamp. Okay, so after I went to pick up the yo-yo quilt, which, oh, by the way, the total price on that was $30.24. $30.24 for the almost antique yo-yo quilt. Okay, so after that, I did find a local thrift store in that area, and I thought I would go in there and check it out. Now, I didn't film in the thrift store, and I did find a couple things. My total spent in there was $8.85. And here's what I found. First of all, now I haven't cleaned them yet. They are a little dusty inside, but I've got 3 of the Anchor Hawking cups. This was originally from, I think, their punch bowl set. So I do have 3 of those, and each of them cost 75 cents at the Goodwill. You know, I don't know why these don't fly off the shelves. I have some of these in the green in a few different shapes. I have some of them in the red, also in a few different shapes, because I'll mix and match them with my white milk glass. I'll put out my little Westmoreland dishes and use the green for St. Patrick's Day, for spring. You can mix it in with Easter, obviously for Christmas time. And then the red, same thing, Valentine's Day, any of Christmas time, Memorial Day, Labor Day, or the 4th of July. And it just brings a pop of color. You can mix it with some of the plates that you have already even. But I don't know. I'm kind of glad they haven't made a big boom lately because they're still really cheap. Again, $1.50 for 3 of those cups. So next up, I also found at the Goodwill this antique creamer. Nicely done. There's some white paint. I think that, well, I think that the flowers were transfer, and then the white paint was applied, but there is absolutely no marking on the bottom of this, and there aren't any chips or cracks in it. If there was any cracks, I wouldn't have purchased it, first of all, even at $2. But there's no flea bites on it. But I love the decorative little handle. And this was $2 also at the Goodwill. And then the last item that I found at the Goodwill is this. Let me turn it forward. So, when I wasn't sure at the store exactly what this was, but I knew it was different and I thought it was something special. So this plate was $4 and I decided to bring it home. Well, once I got home and I unwrapped it, the more that I looked at it, the more I thought, is this an oyster plate? And I think it might be an oyster plate. Now, there are 6 places for the oyster. And then this in the center, you could have either used for your sauce or to put lemon wedges in for the oysters. This particular dish, I've seen a couple over the years, and each of these little slots would be wider. And that meant that they would put the oyster shell and the oyster into those wider slots. However, when they did that and people would try to get the oyster out and be eating, then the shell would move around and it would scratch up the porcelain. So these are not wide. So I think that they put the ice and the water underneath, and then they would put the oyster without the shell on it. And I don't know if this probably would have been shared, but the oyster plates were very popular starting in the Victorian era from 1810 to 1870. Oysters were considered a delicacy at the time. And in the Victorian era, you had plates for every type of food that you ate. Celery plates, oyster plates. And it was a sign that you were wealthy when you had the oyster plates. So even back then, they were pretty expensive because not many people could afford the oysters to put onto the plates. And now this one says that it was made in Germany. And there's a little stamp, but that's all I see. So there is a stamped in, it says G208, and I did look, but I haven't been able to find any information on that to see which German maker. I know it's a mold or a model number, but I wasn't able to find who actually made the plate. And then there's also a number 100 right in here, but it's not telling me anything else. So the oyster plate, I got it at the Goodwill for $4. So I think that was an excellent find. Then after I left the Goodwill, on my way back home, I did happen to find a restore. We have them locally. I don't know if they have them all around the country, but it's a Habitat for Humanity, and they have a lot of building materials. They'll have doors, they have furniture, they have tiles you can buy, paint. People donate their items to the Habitat for Humanity, to the restore where they sell them. And so I went into this new restore, and they were getting ready to close, so I only had about 5 minutes, and it was a pretty big store, and they did have a lot of donated goods, some beautiful furniture in there that was priced pretty good. So I went around really quick to look at the housewares, bypass fast through the furniture, just to be able to kind of see everything real quick before they kicked me out of the store. And the one thing that I did find was this birthday angel. And there she is in all of her glory. She is the February angel. She's got a little basket of roses. I did check on the back because you always have to make sure. A lot of times the wings or the head will be chopped off and you'll find the repair marks. So there was nothing with the wings, no repairs on her whatsoever. She even has some of the, what do you call that? Spaghetti. Well, not the spaghetti. Spaghetti's Italian, but the smaller trim that goes around the basket. And by the way, she is a Lefton birthday angel, and these were styled numbered 3332 in their line of different angels. So at the restore, this little angel cost $5. So these were my finds of the day. These were the things that spoke to me. Hopefully they'll speak to you. And soon, all of the items I showed you, well, except for the 3 little cups, will be on sale and will be offered to any of you. So thank you again for coming shopping with me and seeing what was found. And thank you for stopping by to DeCarlo's Decades of Decor. Please leave a comment if you know anything about this. If you don't think it's an oyster plate, which, you know, nowadays you could use it to maybe put some ranch dressing in, have a few different vegetables, and have your own personal little plate to have your snacks on. So you could do a few different things with it. I really thought it was really cool and really different. But if you have any information other than what I've said, please let me know in the comments what you think. I think it's not the old oyster dishes because those were wider. And I think this is one of the newer patterns, maybe toward the late 1800s. So I'm anxious to hear what any of you say, or any information about a yo-yo quilt. Do any of you own one? Have you ever wanted one? Please like the channel, subscribe so you can get all the videos as they're posted. And please leave some comments, and we'll see you next time. So thanks a lot for watching. See you soon.